What's up, everybody? Let's just dive right in. We're just gonna be walking through the process of getting up and running with React Native. First and foremost, you will likely come across this thing called Expo, and Expo just helps sort of scaffolding and getting up and running with React Native easier, right? So let's just go ahead and just start or create a project. So I'm gonna CD into desktop, right? I'm going to do Expo latest, and then we'll just press enter. And it's probably going to ask us to, what do we want to name our app? So for now, I'm just going to call this Book Smash. And just the reason like this is because this is a bundle identifier that I have just for testing purposes. Oh, so it looks like I already got a directory with Book Smash, so we'll just run that command again. We will call it Learn React Native. And what this is going to do, it's going to go ahead and start our React Native app and just install the dependencies, stuff along those lines. And then, yep, so we'll just go ahead and let this run. Hang tight, I'll be right back while this installs. I'm actually just going to go ahead and grab my MacBook charger. Alright, so that has completed installing our app. Now, what we could do is we could CD into our directory right here. So I'm just going to CD into that. I think I can do code dot, and then I'll actually, oh, I thought it would open up in VS Code. That's okay. I'm going to grab this. What we'll actually do, we'll open this up in Cursor. Cursor has kind of been my editor of choice recently. Learn React Native. There we go. We'll go ahead and open up this file in Cursor, right? So we're in the root here. And then what we could do, we can do npm run iOS. Oh, not IOD, iOS. And that should open up our project in Expo. And then we have a fancy iPhone simulator here, right? And then this is our app. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is with React Native, it gets very difficult when you start adding packages. When you start npm and adding packages, you'll run into build errors. So out the box, this works great. This is all good. We got 2 tabs here. And with Expo's new router, it's very, very similar to Next.js with routing. So we could add new routes, right? So here, if we go into app tabs, I could actually add a tab. Let's just call this tab. Let's do account. Account.tsx. And I'm going to do import view. I'm going to also import text from React Native. There we go. That looks better. Now, also too, if you do press refresh when you're on the simulator, it'll reload your whole entire app. Many times you're going to be like, I didn't see my change. What's wrong? You may have to restart the server and then press R for refresh on the keyboard, and then it'll pop up. So that looks great. However, we don't have an icon for our account. How do we add an icon? Well, when you're using the file system router in React Native, in the app directory, this layout, right? This is an entry point of your app, is this underscore layout, right? So instead of having app.js, you'll have this layout TSX file, and this is the root. This is where all the fun and all the shenanigans begin. All right. So then we got a stack screen, right, and which is tabs. So this tabs is pointing into this folder. Being that it's in brackets like this, that means that it's still at a root level. So this account would be like your domain / account. It still be accessible. It's just a way for you to organize your files, right? So then if we go in that layout, here's where we have our screen. So if I copy this, right, this tab screen, so we have one index points to the root, which is this index.tsx. We got explore, which is explore, and we want to add a new route for account, right? So if we call this account, title is going to be account. And then here's the icon symbol. So this is actually the tab bar icon, right? It would show up here. Now, we want a different icon, and I kind of want to see what library they're using for this. So how do we do that? Well, first, they're using the icon symbol component, and it looks like this is just included in the suggested template that Expo suggests you to start out with. So if I go to components, UI, icon symbol, right? Blah, blah, blah from Expo symbols. So interesting. Yeah, this makes it a little confusing as far as how do I go to add a symbol, right? What if I just do menu fill? Will that answer it? No, menu fill is not assignable. Let's go. What did it suggest? Mug fill. Okay, we don't need any more coffee. We're drinking on a Red Bull today. But all right, so let's not do this, right? I don't really like the way that this looks. I wonder what icon library they're using for this, right? Dependency, Expo vector icons. Okay, that helps. So let's go to Expo vector icons, right? And if we could search like menu here, I don't want to have icons from different library collections. I usually stick to the material icons. I feel like they're universal for most applications, which means that if you use it for web, you can also use it in React Native. Just gives you a consistent feel across your apps if you have multiple apps. If you have a web version, and then also a React Native version. So here, let's just look menu. Let's just give this a shot. Let's import it, right? Material icons, and then I'm going to copy this. We're going to paste it down into here, and then I'm going to use it. So they're using a color based on the color scheme if it's light or dark. We'll change that to 28, and then here we see we have a nice menu icon here. So that's just kind of a video, guys, of up and running and React Native. Let's just dive. Let me see what the next important thing to be would show you. Let's see if we can get this running in a web. npm run web, so we can open it in the web browser. Sure, we'll use a port 8082, and then our app can then also open in a web browser. So if we look in our package.json, when you do npm commands, we're essentially just doing shortcuts, right? So when I run npm run iOS, it's just a shortcut for this. It's no different than me running expo start iOS in the terminal here too. So here's our app. Here's what it looks like on desktop. So, and then here's what I mean by like this account being that this route is still in the tabs folder. If you look at my URL here, it's still at the root. So now, whenever you build your application, guys, you're going to have to eject it at one point of time. There is a way that you can use Expo to publish your app to the App Store and the Google Play Store. However, in my case, in my scenario, I've always had to eject. I guess the correct term now, it was previously eject, which was deprecated. Now you do Expo pre-build. And this will then create an iOS and Android folder for you within your project, then in which you could open your app in Xcode and an Android device studio. So that would allow you to just kind of have more like complete control. Say if you need a module that interacts with Apple Intelligence, or if you need to add like an app clip or something, you're very likely going to have to open your app inside of Xcode. So that's how you do it. Let's go ahead and dive into a shot to try this out. So we made two small changes. We just added a view, right? That's the only change we made. And let's see how far we get before we start running into some errors that are nothing but headaches. So let's just do expo pre-build. Let me make sure that this is a command that I'm supposed to be running. npx expo pre-build. Okay, yeah, npx expo pre-build. Okay. So let's go ahead and run that command. If this works and if this lets me open it inside of Expo and then run it inside of Expo, guys, that's gonna be great. So it's gonna take a second. It's gonna go through. It's gonna do its thing. You know, now we see we got an Android folder. We got our iOS folder that I was talking about. And what we want to do next is we want to open up this app inside of Xcode, and we want to run it, right? Like instead of using npm run iOS, you can run it inside of Xcode. For the ones who are just joining, please like this video, guys. If you want more raw development content like this, please subscribe. I want to help everybody who wants to learn software development learn it faster, because I was in your shoes. I had no idea how to code, and I would Google search. I would do YouTube. I would do all this stuff trying to learn software development, and here I am now. I think I got a relatively good hand on software development, and I just want to help beginner programmers level up and get better. So please like, please subscribe. And by doing that, guys, it'll help me continue to make more content like this. So let's go back here, attempting to install CocoaPods with CLI Gem, and it's just chilling. I don't know what's going on. Just chilling. This is life of a software, guys. Life of software development. So just hang tight, guys. Let's go back to this screen so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to test the quality of this stream. Alright, so not too sure what's going on, but what I'm going to do, so when you open your app inside of Xcode, iOS, see, okay, it does have the workspace. That's weird. Let's try this. Let's do cd iOS. Let's do pod install and see what happens. Oh, every time, guys, I don't know if it's something wrong with my MacBook or like the Ruby version that I got on my MacBook, but I always been coming across this error. So we may not be able to do that today. That's okay. You guys may not get the error. So let's go to desktop, learn React Native. And then if I go to iOS, Xcode project, see, when you open up an Xcode, you want a workplace, not the Xcode project. This is going to be confusing, but it's always workplace. You always want to open up the workplace, but so that's okay. I don't really think it's not okay. Let's just try the command again. Finish pre-build. Alright, so let's delete these folders, right? Delete these Android, delete iOS. Well, while that tries to finish, let's go ahead and let's get some coding done in React Native, right? So what I want to do is sometime in the near future, I want to release a like starter kit with Expo, React Native, and then also Firebase. So, oh, great, it's doing it. It's running pod install. Let's see if this pod install completes. But so anyways, right? So when we're creating our app, okay, we're going to have all apps need authentication, right? So let's focus on authentication. So I'm going to create a new folder, right? I'm going to have it in brackets here. We're going to call it auth. And then I'm going to have, so keep in mind, this is a little bit tricky, right? Because if we had an index.js in auth and in tabs, it's not going to be, these are essentially still at root, so it's not going to work. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to put this in brackets, right? So my URL will be auth login, auth/login, auth/account, sign up, etc. So we're going to do login.tsx, right? And then let's do here, copy this account, right? And then so this is login. So there's also this thing that's called style sheet. From React Native. And then we could do const styles equals style sheet create container flex. And then here we could do styles container styles, right? And now if we were in login right now, let's go back. All right, so that's our account. We're going to do login. Oops. Why does it capitalize that? Interesting. So what's interesting is it's not finding our login view. Oh, because we're an auth/login. There we go. So here's our login view, right? And we can't see this, so we're going to do styles equals styles.text, right? And let's do text, font size, color is going to actually be white, so we can see this. And then we see login right here. Now, so that works great. We can see what we're doing. However, this light and dark mode isn't going to work out. So we can do this thing called use color scheme from React Native. And we can do const color scheme equals use color scheme. Now, if I were to show this color scheme, we should get dark, right? So we can style our stuff accordingly based on use color scheme. However, I think we then would have to move this up inside of this bracket here. Cannot access styles before Alright, so that works, right? And then we could do styles if color scheme is equal to dark, it's going to be white, else black. So then now, let's go. If I go into appearance, right, I think on my Mac, I'm just trying to change color scheme here. General. Let's just search dark. No, not dark noise. Okay, here it is. If I switch it to light, we see that my text is black. And then if we do dark, we see that it's dark. So when you guys like style things this way, you're going to want to make sure that you do this right the first time. I know this is very tedious, and then you'll likely extract the text into its own custom component. And then out of the box, I believe they actually have so they got theme text, right? So we're importing the use color scheme, and then color, light color, dark color. Yeah, so Let's actually use this. But now keep in mind, like, I love that Expo gives you something out the box for you to use. But sometimes when you look at code that's just not written by you, it's just not the way that you like it, right? Because like me, like looking at this, it just can be a little confusing, right? And like I may not need all of this. And when you create an app, you want to code exactly what you need for the features to work, right? You don't want to code anything extra, but that's just more of a rant. Oh, so it looks like I'm passing this in as a prop anyway. So here's exactly why I don't like this is because I don't want to have to do this all the time. I just want my light and dark text to show dynamically. So you just would likely create a own component for that. I won't do this in this video, but you'll have a component that has a style sheet, and then you have your text as a child, and then it just does this based on if it's light or dark, and you'll have this logic, so you don't have to reuse this in all of your components. So anyways, let's go ahead and see if we can open this up now inside of desktop. Where's my Learn React Native? Learn React Native. Where you at, bro? Here it is. Let's see if we got that Xcode workplace. Yep, here it is. So that's our Xcode workplace. And that's great because that's what we want. So I'm going to double click on that. You'll need to have Xcode installed on your Mac. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually just going to close this simulator. And then I am going to shut down. That's iOS. I'm going to close the server that was running npm run iOS. I still got the web one open, right? So then here, let's go Learn React Native. Let's check the sign-in capabilities. No, don't create that. So I'm giving it a bundle identifier. And this is just a bundle identifier, guys, that I'm using for learning. I'm kind of OCD, like I don't want to have all these bundle identifiers. So if I could just use one for like testing learning purposes, I'd rather do it that way. Let's see what happens when we do none, right? No team. And if I try running it, we can run it on a simulator similar to Xcode. And then let's see if this build works, because sometimes in React Native, you'll get started, you'll have to pre-build your app, aka formally eject your app, and then you have to run it in Xcode. And then when you do try running it in Xcode, you're going to just stumble across so many build errors, and it's honestly a headache. You got to copy the error, you got to research it, you got to Google it. You'll run some commands, and then those commands could potentially break other things. So it's really not fun. The developer experience, I believe for Expo and React Native there's a big opportunity for improvement around it. So if this build works, that's great. What I'm actually going to do, guys, is I want to make sure my bundle identifier that I'm reusing is correct. This was another app I just was like playground, just, playing on, trying to learn a little bit, have some fun. Let's go. Where's my book smash? Here we go. Targets, book smash. Yeah, com.book smash. Alright. Com.book smash. So yeah, because we may get an error, and that error may be bundle identifiers required. So we'll find out. The build sometimes takes a while. We'll let that finish, and then I believe we got a project still open up here in web. So there's actually a library called Formic. And it's for React. It works on the web version, and it also works in React Native, so this is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and install that in our app. And when you do run these npm run installs, if you see it in package.json, everything you install shows up here. And then the version number of it. Now, another thing that you're likely going to do there's a library called React Native Paper. And this is a UI library to help you bring material design into your React Native app. And it works across web, Android, iOS. So that's a good library. We're not going to do that yet just because that I want to see if this... Yep, and this is running on our iPhone. So we just ejected the app. We opened it in Xcode. And now we see our app here, and it looks like it is running. Let's see what's going on. Usually it doesn't take this long to load, but I do got OBS going in the background. I am streaming. I got Xcode. I got Google Chrome. I got this server open. So, all right. So here, let's cancel this. So I think it didn't start the Metro server. Let's try Expo start. Let's check my package.json. Alright, I guess I need to install React Native types. We'll just say yes, sure. Oh, that's not fun. There we go. So I just had to get the server started. That's it. This Metro server, right? That's localhost 8001. When I ran it in Xcode, it just didn't start that JavaScript bundler. So I just had to start it, and then I press R to refresh my app, and then it works. And then keep in mind, when we're opening this app now, guys, we're opening it. Oh, did that really open in the Expo app? Oh, interesting. What happens if I refresh? Okay, I still refresh here. But anyways, being that we pre-build our app, and then we opened it inside of Xcode, right? Versus it opening in Expo Go, it opened it inside of the direct app itself, right? So it's pretty much no different in Expo Go versus launching it here, but you can see your app icons. So that works great. Now what's cool about this is we got our app started, we pre-built it, and then we verified that we can build inside of Xcode, right? Now let's take things to a little bit further, right? Let's go ahead and let's see if we can install this UI library, but I want to see Wix React Native UI library. I thought there was one by Wix that I thought was pretty good. Yeah, this is it. So this stuff looks great. I think their elements here are pretty cool. Like they got some swipeable lists, which is great to use. So let's guides setup. Smaller bundle size, blah, blah, blah. Run. So let's try this library, guys. Let's just give this a shot. So here, install that. Should take a few moments. And then we got to install pods, right? And then this React Native reanimated is required. And our package.json, I'm going to search for it to ensure that I have it. And let's actually search for this one too, the gesture handler. So I already got both. The starter kit included all of those, so I don't have to do that. I just have to cd into iOS and run pod install. Will this work? We don't know. Oh, it looks like it's working. That's great news, great news. Great news, this is working, great. So that has worked successfully. Boom, boom, optional dependencies. We're optional, so these are community blur, daytime picker, net info. Install native dependencies, okay, pod install, demo app, blah, blah, blah. Usage, okay. So, interesting. I wish this had imports. Anyway, so let's go ahead and go back. Let's just check styles, colors. assets. I'm just kind of clicking through just to see if anything like catches my attention. I'm not really looking for anything specific. I'm just curious, just seeing what I'm seeing, because I may have to come back. Like, this is important, right? Like, theme manager, if I want to do some theming for my app and reuse my theme, so I'm not like hard coding the styles for everything. I can reuse styles. But let's go ahead and let's just dive over to components, right? So this is interesting. Code example. Yeah, so we're importing from this library instead of React Native, right? But what I want to do is controls, action bar, button. So I'm just exploring the components. Let's give out a shout out this button here. So in login, I'm gonna import button from React Native. Okay, let's see if this will auto-complete the button for me. Button label login. Let's go back here. So here's my button. Yep. Now here's the props. Animate to. That's kind of cool. Direction of the animation will affect the button's own alignment. Color. They make it a little confusing the way that I'm doing these button sizes MD. Let's just try that. I would rather do a prop for size instead of like, okay, so I can do like large here. Oh, I see. Did that work? Did that make it any bigger? What's it default to? Yeah, that didn't do anything. Okay, but I guess the default is large, but now you see the button small, right? So, but what's good about doing it this way for size is if you import like this, I assume that you could theme this out and you could set your small sizes like by a custom. So let me see. Navigation. I'm looking for something like theming where I could like theme this out. Huh, nothing about theme. That's interesting. Guides, styles. Colors. Interesting. Theme manager. Yeah, that's what I thought we wanted. Theme manager, set theme, button. This will affect background color. But okay. Anyways, this is a good library. Like, play around this a little bit. I'm interested in the sorting component. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and look at some more components. Let's check out card. Let's try a card. Oh, here's our little fancy card. That's kind of cool. Carousel. Oh, this looks pretty sweet. Interesting. That's cool. You could have like products in there, something like that. Loader screen. List item. This is pretty cool. Let's see what this looks like. Let's paste in this list item. Weird. I don't see any list item. Got it. So it's because it doesn't align right with my theme that I'm using. So I guess that's my list item. This light mode is just so blinding to my eyes, guys. Maybe I'm sensitive, but let's go back here, right? What are we doing? Let's get back on track here. So we're just playing around. Experimenting is always good with software development, right? Let's look for a text input. maybe it's field. I know there's a text field in here somewhere. Text field. So here you got text field. We're gonna, we'll leave that here. Value. Yep, great. So check this out, right? Hit up some AI, form it. Login form with user, with email, and a password. I just see that it's using yup, so I'm going to do run npm I yup. Now, if we look at this, here we go. We got our login form, right? Now, it's basic, guys. It doesn't look the best, but we got it, right? So let's see if I can do styles container min width. I was trying to make that a little bit bigger. I feel like it's pinching down on it. What if I just do width? Oh, so what I probably do is dimensions width. Oops. Interesting. Let's just, what if I, yeah, I don't know why this is like pinched down, which is annoying. Let's, you know what, let's put this all in another view. Alright, okay. I'm still learning too, guys. The width of the view area is small. Stretch it to full width. Oh, I guess that's, yeah, so I was on the right track. It just added this with 100%. So there we go. And then what I could do, so then here is I could do some styles here. Margin bottom. I thought that would have gave me a little bit more of a gap. But yep, so I'm going to wrap up this video, guys. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how to get up and running with React Native. So I hope this helps you guys out. Thanks for checking this out. Like I said, if you guys want to see more content like this, like, please subscribe. I really want to do help other developers, you know, get to know software applications more, and I want to teach as much as I can. So like I said, guys, please subscribe if you like this video, and feel free to tap in, get in touch with me, say what's up, share what you guys are working on, and I hope you guys crush it out there. Thanks. Bye for now, guys.